work with that. Does that fully meet their demands?
Uh,
Or would it?
alright. Uh, it's it's sorry, I'm still thinking something up because I remember something I just want to confirm. Yeah, you got Egregorians, but it seems you don't have Egregorian human empath pairing.
Oh, so none of the ones in the captured group have any pairings. Okay.
Yeah, you have Egregorian pairings.
Hmm.
I mean, it's you could interrogate the Gregorians if you want to.
Right.
Remember?
I think that was sort of on my list of things to do to just kind of talk more to the prisoners and start working on them a little bit.
Oh,
Get them a little bit more accustomed to the idea that there's a third committee and all that. So, I mean, I could spend some time talking to them and trying to get to the bottom of all this.
oh no. Okay, maybe there is an Egregorian human pairing, but it's much rarer than with the Egregorians you know.
Right. I'm going to assume that's probably because of their status or station or hierarchy, right?
You don't know?
Well, I mean, that would be part of the going and interrogating them a little bit,
Okay.
which is honestly just having chats. These aren't harsh interrogations. These are a little like, tell me your story.
Okay, so you interrogate uh, Centellus Egregorians.
Hmm.
Yeah, start to play it out.
All right. So I'll go ahead and start it up with So tell me what it's like over at the lands of Saint Telos. What is that? What the state calls itself? I keep forgetting exactly what it's called right now myself.
Centellus? Yes.
All right, Centelos. Could you tell me a little bit about your station? What is your place over in Saint Telos in society?
I'm not part of the Centellus Society.
These are the prisoners from there, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're not? Then what do you consider yourself a part of?
Uh, I'm a part of my hive.
And is this hive allied with Saint Telos?
Yes.
All right. So they've accepted uh, a specific hive as their ally. Are you aware of their of Beggar One's anti-alien stance when he came over to this continent?
I, from my point of view, all of you got an anti-alien stance, and I prefer your gun from this planet.
Right, but you do understand that uh, this NHP was interested in the annihilation of your species over on that continent, correct?
Uh,
In fact, he had already declared a strike over on this mountain here.
but Beggar One is no more.
That's correct. But how do you feel about that, coming from St. Telos? how does this how do you resolve this tension between his apparent aims and military motives versus the alliance of the society and your own?
Oh,
Do you feel that they're at odds?
betrayal of outsiders doesn't surprise us.
How close does the Hive consider themselves to Saint Telos?
We are allies.
Close allies? Or formal allies? Or allies of convenience?
Allies.
I see. Have you interacted much with the other citizens? I noticed you were part of the military hierarchy, but have you spent a lot of time in their cities?
No, and I prefer not to.
If you wanted to, would you have been allowed?
Yes.
Have you heard stories from other Gregorians who've gone to the cities? Do you know how they were treated?
He looks at you and tilts his head a little bit. Oh, Solitude is treated like a king, you would say.
Solitude. Who is this?
Solitude is our overmind.
Ah, I see. But what about the individual Gregorian? Do they have positive or negative experiences dealing with the interacting with humans?
Yes,
But which type? Which way does it lean more?
both types.
I see. But I take it from all this, though, that it's not very frequent that it happens, then, is it?
Too frequent. You are
See that-
pestering me now.
Oh, say that again?
You are pestering me now.
That is true. I'm a little bit inquisitive. You were working together with the military hierarchy. Are you a part of their formal structure? Or are you simply working together on a joint operation?
He looks at you quizzically and says, everything is part of the structure.
But over there, were you taking orders directly from your overmind alone? From an officer of your own? Or from one of theirs? Was there a joint officer commanding both forces?
Yes,
But the structures were kept separate? Or were they more integrated?
we allowed a few select humans to join us.
Hmm, I see. And do you frequently bond with these humans at all?
I don't.
And is that because of your previous statements that you don't enjoy humans very much?
Yes. You took our planet from us. And you're not here to give it back.
Well, we're here in home right now, not too far from Hive Home, which was formerly the base of other Gregorians on this continent. They're
Yes.
currently allied with other humans on this side.
Yeah, they are soiling themselves. They give into illusions that humans can be allies or partners, rather, for long. But humans can't be partners. You will never give us our freedom.
Do you feel the same way about Saint Telos then?
I do.
Do you think that alliance will last very long?
It lasts as long as it is useful, like alliances do.
And I assume the use of this is primarily Saint Telos declaring war upon this continent, correct?
Yeah.
That they're pushing their primary forces out in this direction.
Hmm. He shrugs his shoulders.
I see. Are you aware of any of your other fellows who are here who have had any close bonds with humans?
Zero, go ahead and give me a check.
What check am I rolling?
Check of don't get caught with your ulterior motives. However,
Okay.
so
What would that be? Read the situation?
no, something
Control.
more.
I don't have actually many social things right now. I have mostly
don't?
utility social things. So I guess I'm just rolling a d20.
Yeah.
I've had a long chat and I've been going through a whole bunch of topics. Maybe that could give me an accuracy, but who knows? I'll just roll the d20. It's an 18.
Okay. Yeah, I just looked at your sheet. You don't have charm. I'm surprised. But okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things maybe I should have. I think I traded something out for one of the noble social skills when I started.
It's,
Take control honestly hasn't been too useful. Maybe I should change that out for something social.
it's he nods over to a human Gregorian who sit close to a chart. But yeah, you realize that mostly the Gregorians and the humans keep separate, unlike with the Hysanians, where they intermingled freely.
Do you have a means of contacting your hive? I suppose that's mostly done through your psionic sense, isn't it?
He looks at you like you would look at a kid for asking stupid questions. So, like showing a complete lack of understanding.
How do other humans contact your hive? How would we contact them?
Uh, Preferably not at all.
Well, they do discuss with St. Telos. They're not purely isolationist.
Yes. We talk, like I do with you.
Hmm. But they have no primary means of communicating to the outside, then. It's on an individual basis over on the other continent, correct?
He thinks about your question and seems confused by it.
Are you in contact with Solitude right now?
Yes. Yes,
Is
of
that an
course I am.
indefinite range?
Hmm?
The range of this, is this indefinite?
I don't know. We never leave our planet.
But it is planet-wide.
I don't know. It's wide enough.
But you are in contact with Solitude. Is he listening to this conversation right now? How much do how much do you do they understand of it? Is this like a full transcription? Do they have to be aware of it going on right now? Could they view it later?
Oh, he can witness it now. He can witness it later. Whenever I share witness.
So whenever you share it. Hmm.
And we like to share.
Yes. I like to share. I'd like them to be aware of the alliance on this side. And that I ultimately hope that the Gorgons can keep their planet.
Oh, that's very easy to achieve. You just have all to leave.
It's not so easy anymore. But I'm still doing my best.
It never is with you humans.
The ones here have found a way to get along. I think there can be a lasting peace in the end. Or that's my hope.
He stares at you. You don't think he shares your hope.
Well, that's an unfortunate shame. But I thank you for the conversation for now. I'll stop bothering you for now. Sorry for irritating you. And I'll go ahead and get up and leave. Alright, so more to think about then. More to think about.
Yes. More to think about.
Yeah, I have to kind of weigh in my mind like 3 things in a row now. Both, trying to appease Landmark, trying to keep the political situation very solid, and maybe trying not to commit war crimes against a group that is more or less willing to probably get rid of the humans around it for us and create a whole new side of the war, but they wouldn't be happy if we gave away their prisoners, I'm sure.
Both.
So I have to balance trust on all sides. Woo. So I'm gonna think about that for a minute. Cobra and Showbiz should probably do something for a moment.
Well, if you don't call them war crimes and call them something
Party
like
favors.
yes,
We committed multiple party favors yesterday.
or acts of necessity.
Just label anyone who does them a hero, it's fine.
Yeah, Cobra, Showbiz, what do you want to do in the meantime?
Stand right behind Zero, waiting for his orders.
Ah! Didn't you get in here? This is the prison, this is a secure facility.
I've
How'd you
literally
when-
talked to you in here before.
No, that was the other one. That was back in Evergreen.
Yes, I can walk into a prison. It's very easy when you're not a prisoner.
You can walk out too.
But then I take it you're not doing anything then, huh?
No. Waiting for orders.
How am I going to resolve this?
If you're waiting long enough, Marsh Alpha is resolving that for you.
Oh yeah, if I just let everyone die, then I don't have to worry about the problem anymore. Easy. Hmm. I'm sorry, I'm being quiet and trying to think while I'm like expecting you guys like pick up a little bit. Otherwise, I could just like keep narrating to myself here.
Sure, give us your internal monologue.
Well, ultimate peace on this planet is kind of the goal at this point. That's what it's expanded to. We're still technically under contract by Landmark, and we do ultimately have to give in to their orders eventually, I think, or else just kind of declare ourselves completely AWOL, or I'm not sure what the consequences of breaking this contract would be. I mean, personally. Uh, what would the consequences be? I assume they could probably just take us to Union Court or something.
I mean, basically, Landmark doesn't have jurisdiction over you, and then they would fight a lot of court battles over with the Mirror Smoke company, and Mirror Smoke got pretty good lawyers, and so it kinda depends if they manage to sell that as a contract fulfilled or not. So
Hmm.
you're not. Uh, uh, they probably wouldn't be too pleased because yeah, life is always easier if the customer is happy, but you're entirely not sure what would happen if you just went AWOL completely.
Right. The worst case scenario is that they have the second largest force here right now, and two spaceships, which I imagine are like armed cruisers in the type, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, they would definitely beat out the Union, and they would probably have some reasonable advantage if they just dug in around Evergreen and decided to never help ever again. That wouldn't really help anyone out. It would actually be incredibly detrimental if they turned on this situation right now,
I mean,
or if I forced them to.
basically, that's part of that is what they already did. They made their own Camp Showstopper and dug outside of everybody else and draw up their defenses there. But yeah, you remember Union also got two cruisers. So you're not sure how a space battle would go.
Right. That's sort of outside my pay grade at the moment to really think about, but I think it's enough to say two cruisers versus two cruisers mean that none of us are winning in the end.
Yeah.
It would be a terrible, catastrophic setback to what's otherwise been a rather peachy scenario afterwards. If we could enlist their help, we more or less negate an entire army on our front door.
Yeah.
So the thing that would help the most people in the immediate future would be giving into their demands, getting their full assistance in the situation, and just crushing an army.
Yeah.
But that would piss off the Gregorians on the other side, who undoubtedly would be aware of this. and might instill a little bit of suspicion from the Gregorians that are already here that they've been more or less given up to experimentation. Such would not go well, I think. That could actually open up an even worse front, because half of the Gregorians, ones that are on the other continent, already are willing to destroy the humans and get them off their planet. The ones on this side, I'm actually not too certain of yet, but they seem like they're willing to work together and just keep the situation going so far. So, I could always try to communicate with them more and keep them on our side. But I don't know exactly how they would respond to a necessary evil kind of scenario. The three sides of it: colony, the other Gregorians, and us. So, what situation do I put us in? I think that's sort of what it comes down to, doesn't it? It goes large carrier, support carrier, line frigate, line frigate.
So-
Oh, okay. I got the feeling UNS would probably win in a straight up battle between those two, but, well, spaceship wise. But who knows? Not a scenario I want to play out. I think ultimately it is not worth completely ruining any scenario of possible peace on this entire continent and going straight back to the beginning. Uh, but the other Gregorians have indicated that they are more or less willing to continue being a hostile force and don't see a chance of peace right now. And we have prisoners. The only thing I can think to do with the prisoners to try to assure their safety in these experiments would be to deal with the UN, the Union here, and try to assure their status as prisoners of war, and then relinquish custody over to another entity, and then just move them off-world. That would be the primary situation I can see where they would have the most rights to their condition without being abused by Monolithic Corporation, but it'd still be in the Monolithic Corporation's hand.
But basically, if you accept them as prisoners of war, you doubt Union would be willing to hand them over to SSC.
Right.
Because, yeah. And you know the what people say about SSC, right?
No, I don't actually know a whole lot of what people say about SSC.
Yeah,
Mostly know about the weird stuff people say about the about Horus.
yeah, but Horus isn't so much a company. It's more
Yeah,
weird
as much as like a
something.
weird space internet group.
But SSC is the one famous for their biological experiments, and they do a lot of human gene modification and stuff, and this neural interfaces is all from them. And yeah, if you listen to the news, or a lot of different dark experiments go on under the shadow. Of course, above the cover, SSC denies this, but everybody knows in air quote that yeah, SSC does a lot of strange biological experiments, even on humans.
Right. Fun times ahead for them.
But
Man, this is not a good decision to be making. That's my ultimate analysis. Nobody wins. So, do I sacrifice these prisoners of war over to experimentation to assure ultimate victory, or sacrifice an otherwise perfectly good position to one of utter chaos to protect a small amount of people who hate me anyway and consider us all frauds. Mm.
You also remember the fine print. They preferably get part of an Overmind too, right?
Right, but that's not something necessarily in our power at this moment.
Yeah. Just
So as much as they want it, I might have to just say, not possible until we deal with other things. But you're free to give us your 5,000 people to go get it.
so,
So yeah, so they'll have to wait on that last part, but I could do 2 out of 3 at the very least. I'm more than willing to give them the dead carcass of the bug right now. That at least is only questionable rather than evil. So they will have that.
It's not
That-
evil, it's an unfortunate necessity.
Gosh darn it, stop covering up my war crimes. Wait, maybe cover them up more. I don't know anymore.
I mean, you could try to get tissue samples of an Overmind.
That is true, but I'm not necessarily the sneak in at night and cut off a bit of their hair type of person.
Uh,
I'm sure I could ask, but that might mean explaining the situation to the Egregorian forces and leader, getting him to agree to one, the tissue sample, and two, that it's a good idea to give up some of his own species that are opposing him to gain political supremacy on the continent. Maybe
while
that's just the
you
talk I need to have. I don't know.
while you still ponder that, I'll be AFK for 5 minutes. You can too take a break or discuss this within your group, how you want to go about it.
Yeah. I could always ask what you guys think. You guys have just been silent the whole time.
Well, they hate you anyway, so
But
And
if you
think later
do actively commit a war crime, I will turn against you.
Oh boy. Oh, I mean, I already fired one super weapon. So you're saying definitely don't give up the prisoners. Right, Theta?
I'm saying don't commit any war crimes.
yes.
I'm pretty sure this kind of counts, doesn't it? That's what I've been saying all along. What could we possibly alternatively do to meet this demand?
I'm drawing a blank here. Sorry.
Not a
Yeah, I
democracy.
know. I'm gonna actually grab a drink real quick. Be right back.
I'm back.
Welcome back. I think Griffin's doing something real quick. He'll be back.
Yeah. So,
I return.
very
Let's see.
Well, do you think they'll be satisfied with tissue samples or no?
They might be. I think if I got the Overmind tissue sample, that would at least be 2 out of 3 demands, and that might actually satisfy them enough. So I think what I need to do is I need to go talk to the Egregorian leadership Overmind here.
I mean, the priority was like living human Egregorian Empire pair, then Overmind, tissue at least, preferably live, but tissue at least, and then get morphs. So I'm not sure which two out of three you talk, but it's
I'm thinking tissue sample from Overmind and morphs.
yeah. So the number one priority would be missing, right?
Yes. So I will try to ask if that would satisfy them for the time being.
No,
Definitely not. Dang.
we need live empath.
Sorry, I need a quick refresh. The guys on the ships. Those are our second committee or third committee?
Third committee.
Committee.
And they're the ones giving these orders, right?
No, the Landmark Colonial is on behalf of SSC.
SSC is still third committee?
Uh,
Who is still
yes.
second committee on this planet? That's what I'm confused by. I've forgotten.
The right continent. Saint Telos.
So we're still getting orders. All the orders that we're currently debilitating about are all third committee, right?
Right, we have our contract through our mercenary company with Landmark, which operates in the third committee space.
Right.
Yeah,
And one of the things I did pitch was we could just break contract, but that would end up in the worst case scenario now and probably later.
and SSC is the owner company of Landmark. SSC belongs to Union Space, and it's that SSC that also builds your mechs. Because yeah, everybody of you is piloting an SSC mech right now, right?
I am.
Hold on. Shit, I didn't put those tags next to the mechs.
Whoops.
I'm guessing I do. I'm pretty sure slope plating comes from SSC.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I think all of your stuff was.
I mean, that doesn't really matter to me.
Sure.
Well, I got brand loyalty, so obviously I gotta go for this now.
Look, I didn't write Pepsi on the side of my mech for no reason.
Yeah, it's just
You come walking out and Showbiz is now wearing like a NASCAR uniform instead of his military uniform. Look, man, I got brand sponsorship. Coca-Cola doesn't want to see me performing any acts of war attrition. Don't get me started on what Depends doesn't want me to do.
So the other two priorities aren't enough for the ultimate priority. They want a bonded pair.
Yeah.
But that's ultimately the last thing I want to give them.
I'm sorry, they want samples, right? Is what you said?
They want a bonded pair, they want samples from an Overmind, they want bodies of morphs.
Right. And we don't have any on hand, just dead ones already?
We do have the morphs, and we could ostensibly get the tissue samples if we talked it out enough, maybe.
What do you mean,
But
maybe?
if we do the bond pair, we are definitely submitting at least 2 people to technically dark and unspeakable experiments.
So we don't do that.
I agree. But that's ultimately the thing they want the most.
Well, you know what the real problem for them is going to be? Obvious and traceable paperwork. All we do is we send back paperwork trail via communications, and don't do it. What are they gonna do?
Right, they can't force us to do it, and the plain text of our contract is that we've technically already met and continue to meet its demands. But there's the implicit threat of them refusing to help and make a good situation really bad. I'd like to fight only 3 armies, not 4.
We're not.
Well, I guess
Where's
only
the
4, not 5.
Where's the Fourth Army coming from?
We got the 3 robot armies, we got the second continent, and we have theirs.
We're not gonna be fighting our own people. There's no reason to count them on there. What, you think they're gonna turn vengeful all of a sudden and try to kill 3 Lancers?
I think they could dig in, I think they could claim territory. Yeah, I think they could be a little vindictive.
Yeah, but they're not going to attack us.
But they will leave us out to the wind.
Sure,
At minimum.
but that at maximum, there's no reason to attack us if we don't do anything to do anything to them.
Right. Well, the whole point of these demands and thinking about giving in to them is that otherwise they are demanding the entire planet as their colony and they want all of it.
It is their colony. This is Union territory. This belongs to them.
And nobody else on the planet agrees.
That's their problem. Landmark Colonial owns this planet.
Because we're stuck here defending them.
Landmark
And if they
Colonial.
decide to declare war against the entire planet, that's going to be a fight we're going to have to deal with, and I don't want to do that.
To put in something on the legal situation, Union technically could take away the license they gave Landmark Colonial.
Yeah, that's what I was about trying to say. This is a Union world. They own it. They wouldn't declare war on it. This would be a passive. I can't say the word.
Pacification.
Yes, this would be one of those. These people are riding against the lawful authority of the planet if they go against those ships.
I think it's really still too much up in the air, honestly.
Well, no, it's literally the lay of the land. The Union that just showed up is in authority here. I mean, at the same time, they still can't force us to perform a war crime on their behalf. That is still galactically illegal. But they are the legal authority here, despite what Landmark Colonial says or the inhabitants of the planet. They are the highest authority that we legally and morally respond to.
Union isn't trying to get you to commit war crimes to Landmark.
I know, I'm just saying. I'm just saying overall. Overall, the highest authority, the lay of the land, it's Union. And if they're up there and they tell us to do something, we do it. If the Landmark tells us to do something that's a war crime, we report them to Union that's in orbit. No contract is worth being a wanted criminal.
Right. I think it's still best if we try to have 5,000 more people help us solve this problem.
Which problem? I'm sorry. One more time for me.
The incoming war of being totally surrounded by robots.
Sure.
Oh, also one of the columns is coming in too.
And maybe not alienate the government that runs the rest of the galaxy, perhaps.
Right. So the only thing I can think of is that I am willing to help them reach their number one goal here if they accept the 2 and 3 ones right now. And in the future, I can provide a bonded pair, especially after events have settled down here. I know exactly who is willing and is moral enough to volunteer for it, but it will take some time. Can they agree to continue to provide full cooperation in this event on that promissory note?
Uh, how do you know that somebody will volunteer in the future?
Because I am one of those volunteers.
And you already got an Egregorian volunteer.
That is the part that I am going to work on. I will acquire a psionic bond and submit myself to experimentation.
And you will force your bondmate to do so too.
That I'm uncertain of. I'll have to see what happens.
Yes.
But I can guarantee them I will try to provide them it. I will do my best if they just do not cause trouble.
You get a response, we need a pair. So,
Hmm. But are they willing to wait?
yes.
I'll be right back.
All right, good. Problem solved for the time being, then.
I mean,
Uh,
they are willing to wait, but they won't retract their claims meanwhile.
you see, that was kind of the point of making the promise.
Yeah,
That we have the near-term situation we have to deal with.
yeah, but your colonel got orders, you see. So, but
So what are they planning to do for the meantime, then, if they're not going to go all the way through with this, then?
they but yeah, they can go ahead and aid in the combating against Marsh Alpha, because yeah, Marsh Alpha still got the casket, right? They also
Yes.
need to retrieve.
So, we can work from there, at least. I think that ends the negotiations for now, then. They have 2 of 3 of their goals. We have another one promised to them. They will retract their claims in the end, and they will assist us immediately in the future. I
And
think that's everything I got, right?
they will retract their claims provided they get their pair.
Right. So I'll have to work on that. Well, I spent a whole lot of time negotiating and trying to get this working and struggling with the moral implications of everything. Yay. What now, Teal-chan?
Uh,
Do we do a downtime action to prepare for something, or what are we up to next?
your guesstimate you still have 1 month left till March Alpha reaches high form. So you can take downtime actions, or
Right. So I do have the ambush plan already set up. I can go
Yeah.
ahead and give that over to Cobra and Showbiz and have one of them handle it.
Sorry,
I'm
handle
going
what?
to take some time to myself. So I already have some preparations in place to try to ambush the column as it comes in and put it into a disorganized state. If one of you two can go ahead and handle this plan, or at least get it started, and then we engage in some skirmishes beforehand, I think we can go ahead and weaken them before they even get here.
Right, dropping Omni hooks filled with bombs. Got it.
Alright, I will trust you to handle that with the plans I've given to the best of your abilities, then.
Having completely forgotten your plan, even though you probably told me 5 minutes ago, maybe not a good idea.
Alright, and then that just leaves Cobra to figure out what they're going to do.
Okay. Showbiz, I get it that you then take over training of the military or some units and prepare them for ambushing. Right?
As you say.
Then give me a training role. How will you train them?
Like a montage. Everybody loves a montage.
Do a lot of things happening at once, remind everyone of what's going on.
Even Rocky
Okay.
had a montage.
I see perfect training. So I'm imagining a Demulan song right now. I'm making a man out of you.
Mr. Rao, make a man out of you.
Yeah, it's
No, I'm not sure there's very many situations where climbing this pole is really going to help them out in combat.
Oh, it's perfectly necessary to climb up trees and reach advantage sniping.
Oh, of course, there we go.
Yes, perfectly smooth trees that go vertically. Perfectly vertical trees. With no branches.
Yeah, that's minor complication.
And all I have are these 2 weight stones in the forms of giant coins with holes in the middle. Damn, if only they trained me in one particular method of getting up this very peculiar tree. The only one in the forest, mind you. This forest of tents. Where the hell am I?
Sorry about that. I'm back.
Yeah, it's fine. Cobra, Showbiz has does some training for the troops to prepare better ambushes, and he did a very good job of it.
Excellent. All right.
What do you do, Vita?
Well, it would not be too good of me to basically turn around and do the same thing unless that would help.
You could carry out the ambush plan.
All right.
Wait. There
So
are
would that
now
be? Oh, go ahead.
there are now 40,000 troops. I doubt Showbiz manages to train all of them within a month.
Got them all in one
Yeah.
spot.
Well, that's fair, I suppose.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess this would be a either survive or act unseen and unheard. I'm equally good at both, so
Yeah, then you probably want to have them act unseen and unheard, right?
yes. Oh boy, I wish there was some way I could re-roll that.
Hmm?
rolled me a 2.
Damn. First time we did it, right? Okay, I just paste you your options.
Shoot yourself in the
Which one?
foot. Go with option 2.
uh, I think option 2 isn't really applicable to what he did.
Sure would. We don't believe him. I don't anyway. I've seen his actions. I mean, I'm not as higher up though, but I don't know. A lot of these don't make sense.
I mean, it's I think number 1 and 4 could make sense.
Hmm. Number 1 would be your training is well received but isn't great.
Yes.
And the numbers are the ones with the square bullets? Or are
Yes.
they the ones with the square or round?
The square, the round is the specification of the square. So the chat
Okay.
killed the.
Oh, I
Take
like
a
the
funny
NHP one. The NHP one's cool.
thing.
What, causing a cascade threshold?
Yeah, to incidentally. Well, I mean, none of us really use tech actions, so it might not really be that much of a risk.
Yeah, but do you have an NHP installed, Cobra?
I don't think I do yet. Let me check. That might be under my talent.
Oh, I just kind of
No,
assumed he'd be using patience. Patience going,
No, you don't have an NHP. That would be on your frame.
Okay.
I don't know, that last one really seems a lot like Cobra. I'm sorry, the next to last one. You make no progress with these yokels. You walk away in frustration. No, you crab walk
All
like
right.
this.
Yeah, let's make no progress with these yokels.
Okay, then 0.
I'm going to do the special downtime action of just settling in. I will probably talk some to the high command about sort of the rottenness of my situation, but I'm going to just settle in with the Gregorians, try to make a bond, maybe just set up a business in home or something, and just relax a little bit more because I've been under stress for at least a whole year now.
Okay. Roll me a d10.
A D10, okay.
Okay, you don't find a bond. But
Okay.
you're more relaxed afterwards.
It's like, man, it feels nice to not constantly be put upon with moral situations and possible war crimes. Would you like to buy a painting?